Heyo, and welcome back to the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. Great to have a fully loaded show this evening, and we have a fantastic guest. It is Mike Gualtieri from Boston College. He's reporting on all things Boston College. You can see he's got the hat on, he's got the colors. He's coming to us right after a day at the school. We're going to talk all things Boston College athletics with Mike in just a minute, but as always, we got to start with the Pats game, probably the biggest game at Gillette Stadium in very many years. Disappointment at the end, J Matt. It was a roller coaster ride. Take it away, set the table.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tale of for the first time in what, 10, 11 weeks. It's unfortunately we're not here saying it's a victory Monday. Kind of was getting used to that rolling for quite a while, but tale of two halves. The first half the Pats came out strong. The place was juiced up. I mean, the vibes were high, like you said, Plotty. They went touchdown punt, touchdown field goal in the first half, and things were looking good. And then in the second half, they just laid an egg. Drake May had 31 passing yards total, and the drives went punt, interception, touchdown, which was a one play run by Henderson. So you got to take Drake May out of the equation there, and then they punted and then down. So just a complete tale of two halves where they had a great first half, terrible second half, and the Bills adjusted. The Bills completely adjusted. The coaching, Vrabel got out coached completely, and the players got outplayed. There's just no another way to put it. And Josh Allen is that guy. We were texting yesterday throughout the game, and I was like, this the zone, the cover two was just so soft. You could see it. They were finding the holes, and Allen was picking them apart. And I was saying, let's go to man, like switch it up. And they went to man, and what do you know? Allen does is he goes and takes it off running because you have no one in the zone that's looking out and trying to look for the quarterback off running. So Allen just really is special. And unfortunately, Drake May just didn't have it in him and anyone else in the team really, that for that matter, in the fourth quarter in that last drive. So not what you want to see coming out of the bye week. But definitely not the end of the season. I mean, the season's been great, and one game's not going to derail the season at all. But that one seed is looking far gone, and you just really have to fight for the two seed and make sure you win the division. That's what you got to look for right now. So I want your guys' take too.
Mike, jump in.
You know what? I think your last sentence was the amazing statement. What you said, the one seed is gone, and they're still fighting for the two seed. Let's go back to like July and August. What were you thinking? Maybe 7, 9 wins. That was like the height, and now they're doing that. So it's tough. I was at the game yesterday, guys. It was a lot of fun. A good atmosphere. I was there as a fan. Snow coming down, classic. But you know what? Like, it's tough to get mad. You feel like they're so ahead of schedule at this point. You're almost kind of playing with it. 11-3. It's obviously. I will say though, you're right, guys. Opportunities to win the division at home, up 21-0. Those don't grow on trees. So you got to convert that when you get those chances. They're going to regret that
Yeah.
somehow, some way down the stretch. But this season has been awesome.
I think for me, the big thing that I was to take away from yesterday is the penalties. The penalties, which it seemed like the Patriots had under control for a little bit, at least over the last couple of weeks, really reared their ugly head, and we were penalized often and frequently, and it really had a big impact on the game. The refs, I do think, had a little bit of an impact on the game here, but I do not think the refs are the reason why the Patriots lost or the Bills won. They obviously just had an impact, though, so I don't want to just gloss over it and say that they weren't a factor. They were certainly a factor. I think one thing though, I'm trying to take an optimistic point of view is this team ripped off what, 10 straight wins? Did we realistically think that they were going to go into the postseason without another loss? And realistically, and this isn't me asking you guys, I didn't really think that they were going to rip off what, 14 straight weeks of wins. And also, that's not necessarily the best thing to go into the playoffs without not having a loss anytime soon. This is something where now having a loss, especially against a good good team in Buffalo, they can now reassess, have a little bit of humble pie, go into a tough matchup this Sunday night against the Ravens, hopefully take care of business and propel themselves towards the postseason.
And that's just it. I went, Mike, you kind of touched on it, is in, July and August, our conversations where we would be happy with a team that is, 8 to 9 wins, maybe 10, 11 wins, and they're progressing towards the end of the year. And they're building some sort of identity, and uh, they were at the top of the power rankings at one point, and it's just, it's not Tom Brady. I hate to say it. This is Drake May. It's a different person. It's a different athlete. It's a different scheme. It's going to be a completely different setup. really the biggest thing is the defense. You guys really touched on it too. Is it was everything kind of got exposed, and the adjustments that and Josh, like you said, we got completely outcoached, which you're completely correct about that. It's those are the things that need to be worked on and need to progress. And it's still a young team. It's still a young coaching staff. Again, they're only 14 games in as a whole coaching staff, and there's room to grow. And that's what I see as the optimistic thing is that if anything, the Bills should be scared because their window is closing if the Patriots are getting this good this quickly.
Absolutely. And my take on this is, Josh, just we said a tale of two halves, but one thing that stayed consistent throughout the whole game was how horrible the special teams played, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ray Davis, he was the kick returner for the Bills. I just want to give some numbers real quick. He had 4 kick returns for 164 yards, a 41-yard average.
Yeah. Didn't I say Gabe kick it out
on
of the
the kick
back of the end
return.
zone? Said you better just kick it out of the end zone at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's bad enough that you got Josh Allen on the other side of the football, ready to go on offense and score a touchdown 5 times in a row. But when you're giving him optimal field position every single time, it felt like, that you're just destined to give up that 24-7 lead you had at halftime. And it just never sat right with me. Even when we were up 21-0, it's just
Mhm.
like,
mhm.
calm down, everybody. Like, they still have Josh Allen on the other side, and he did MVP type things yesterday, and he brought that team back to victory. And you got to give kudos to the Bills, and to sit here today saying we would go 1-1 against them in the season series is pretty good. I think I'll take that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on everything. I think there's still a lot of optimism to be had. I think the biggest thing is we talked about this 2 game stretch. They failed the test against Buffalo. There were obviously all the concerns that we've had about this team, the offense getting stagnant in the red zone and in the second halves, penalties at times, the depth of the team in terms of players that are out. Like all of that was on display yesterday, and Buffalo exploited that. But a prime time opportunity on Sunday Night Football on national TV after a loss like this to go out against a team in Baltimore who, you know, is one of the rivals of the Patriots when you look back at some of the games that they've played. You got to go on the road and somehow get back in the winning column and wrap up the division here. That's still got to be the goal. That's still got to be the focus. I think I said to Gabe this morning in a text, I'd rather lose this game now to Buffalo in the regular season and be able to learn from it down the stretch than have that be the way that we go out in
Mhm.
the playoffs. So hopefully it's one of those wake up losses, silver lining. There's no moral victories. You got to go out next week and prove it. J Matt, anything you want to put a bow
Yeah,
on for the Patriots?
yeah, I mean, the one thing that's has been really concerning to me is the lack of pass rush, especially since Milton Williams has gone out. And I know Milton Williams is like a game wrecker, but the fact that the Patriots are relying on one guy to come back and just change the whole landscape of that front seven is a little concerning to me because I know they didn't have Spillane. I don't he didn't play yesterday.
No,
He was inactive.
he didn't
So
play.
you didn't have Spillane, you didn't have Milton Williams, but the loss is concerning to me because you're going to be playing the cream of the crop come in the playoffs. You're not going to be playing, the Cleveland Browns and the Raiders and all these other teams. You're not going to be playing them, and we're relying on dudes to come back and play and be healthy to supply a pass rush, and that's really concerning to me because they haven't really shown much without Millen Williams.
It's been tough sledding on the running defense for sure. That streak of 50 something yards, uh, you know, was now long in the past. As I said, get right game against Baltimore Sunday Night Football, and we're gonna keep this train moving and talk a little other football. We'll talk some more. We have a lot of football to talk about tonight, boys. There's so much going on, both professionally as well as college football, and we're gonna get right into that. Mike, we want to talk. Looking back at the Eagles season, which was somewhat of a disappointment. Let's call it a spade a spade. It was a massive disappointment, given what the expectations were in second year of Bill O'Brien. Just give us your thoughts on sort of what happened. Why did things sort of fall apart the way that they did in terms of what you saw throughout the year?
Yes. First of all, I want to say thank you for even mentioning the BC Eagles, given the opportunity after 2-10 season in Boston with the Patriots being 11-3. It's pretty good. I'll take the time. But no, 2-10, disaster of a year. Bill O'Brien, second year, guys, 7-5 last year. They lost the Pinstripe Bowl to Nebraska. So disappointing loss in that. But you thought the momentum was there going into this year. Dylan Logren was the quarterback from Alabama. Bill O'Brien knew him from his coaching days back in Alabama. And you thought, honestly, I thought 8 wins was a good goal this year. It totally fell off. They had injuries, but that doesn't make there was some deeper system. And what I noticed with BC, the big difference, guys, between BC and like an SEC team is that depth chart, that second line. They don't. It's a huge drop off, and that's what happened with BC, and they got exposed. Um, just a horrible year overall. So they beat Fordham in Labor Day weekend, and then they beat Syracuse Thanksgiving weekend, and then that was it. Losses throughout. So just I was there at the Carrier Dome Thanksgiving weekend for that win against Syracuse. Maybe that speaks to my life. I don't know why I was there. It was crazy, but it was just it was good to get a win there to send it off, but still, you can't spin it, man. It is bad. So BC, the transfer portal opens January 2nd. It's got to be guns blazing. They got to hit it strong. The school has announced they're finally, I don't know how familiar you guys are with how the money works, but they're finally going to max out. This year was 20.5 million for revenue sharing. I think it might go up to 21 or maybe 21.5 million going into 2026. And that's the money the school can basically pay the players to do that. And then BC has some NIL, Friends of the Heights, on top of that. So the goal is, you have to split that, I should add, with hockey, men's basketball, women's basketball as well. Also, women's lacrosse gets a little bit of money at BC. So, but the bottom line is the financial responsibility and the commitment is supposedly going to be up in 2026. But this is now year 3 for Bill O'Brien, guys. So you gotta step up. You can't stack 2-10 seasons, obviously.
Mike, do you think that has hurt or helped BC in the recruiting aspect, the NIL and the money revenue sharing aspect? I want your take on that in college
Yeah.
football
So
as a
I
whole.
think I think BC is slow to kind of like this ruling. I think it happened in July of last summer, and the SEC schools were like, "Oh my God, yeah, we're going to max out for 2025 and just go full throttle ahead." BC as a school institution likes to kind of wait and see, like doesn't want to go full throttle commitment to paying players. They were never in favor to begin with. They have to kind of catch up with the times. So that's what this year was, in my opinion. So I think they will next year. I think they got to change that mindset, though. They got to be like, we're a wealthy Northeast school. We got the money. We're going to show Alabama what's up and pay. Just you got to go all in, like jumping in the deep end now. But it goes against the Northeast culture, guys. College football, it's always been number 2, like behind the Patriots. Is what I'm saying. It's like number 7 in Boston. I get that, but maybe the Revolution are ahead of us. but no, it's just like that's they have. There's no reason it can't be an asset. They got to turn it around for liability because BC has money. They're in the ACC, guys. They're getting that check, the ACC revenue money. It's there. There's no excuses at the end of the day.
No
Tell
doubt.
Yeah,
that to John Henry in the front ownership of the Red Sox office.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, we'll get to that, my friend. We'll get to that. Big E, jump in.
Yeah, Mike, my question for you about this team this past season is, do you think more of the responsibility fell on the offense or the defense for where they were lacking? And I know that, on both sides of the ball, they had some guys that were drafted into the league last year. Specifically, I'm thinking about the D end who got drafted by the Cowboys, Izaraku, who's a great player. Where do you really feel like they were really deficient going in? Look back in
Yeah, so if
this
I
past
had a
season.
quant, I would say 75% defense, 25% offense. It's funny, the special teams was actually really good, much improved from the previous year. The field goals was really efficient, but the defense was getting sliced up and down. Man, that secondary had a lot of injuries, but the defense, to your point, they weren't putting as much pressure on the quarterback as they were in the front seven in 2000. That would have been 24 as they did this year. And then on the backside, I remember school teams were just throwing the ball up 15, 20 yards and taking it to the house a lot of times. It got pretty ugly there on the defensive secondary side. So I would definitely put it on the defensive side, and they fired their defense coordinator. So they still haven't hired one. I would like Washington from Notre Dame, the assistant coach Tim. So I think Al Washington from Notre Dame, he played at BC. I think he's a great hire for the defense coordinator. Has not become official yet, but I think he would be a great pick up. And also, they have a new GM now, Kenyatta Watson from Auburn, who they just brought on last week. He was on my podcast last week. So they're trying to change the culture there. But to answer your question, the defense.
Yeah, work to do for Boston College football, undoubtedly. We loved your exchanges with Coach O'Brien throughout the season. Brought some good laughter to the social media channels as we were talking pre-show. Trevor Haas was our first ever guest on the podcast. So the moment that came
What's
of
up,
that,
Trevor?
what's up, Trevor?
What's up, Trevor?
I wish we sent the invite to Trevor to just pop in at any moment tonight and just we could have said what's up to him. But yes, love Trevor, love both of your coverage of BC. I mean, both of you are our go-to resources when it comes to that. Gabe, we want to keep the BC sports team going here with the winter teams. Why don't you kick us off on hockey?
Well, here's
Absolutely.
the question. Do you guys want to hear about that press conference, like how it went down?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
sure. Yeah, of
sure. Give us the
course.
behind the scenes.
Yeah. So it was the Tuesday press conference after. So it was not a game day. Some people think it was after a game or something. So he had he had a 48-hour cool down period. Usually you get 10 minutes after games. But anyways, it was Tuesday after Notre Dame. The team had just fallen to 1-8. BC actually played pretty well against Notre Dame. I think it was like they definitely covered. It was one of the tighter games for Notre Dame that season. I think that might have cost them in the playoff selection because of that game. But so I asked Coach, and my whole basis was with a horrible season, 1-8. The fans, and there was a lot of good weather, good fall Saturday weather, but BC was getting really good attendance, guys, good tailgating and all that. So I said, Coach, do you have a message for the fans? You're 1-8. You lost to your Catholic school rival. I thought I was setting him up on a silver platter to be like, yeah, it's been a tough season, but I really want to thank the fans for coming out. We got to keep fighting and go from there. But instead, I don't know what it was, set him off. And, he just turned it on me. Like, who are you? I don't know what year you graduated. You're a ball of negativity, which is funny because you've asked any of my friends, I'm the guy wearing the BC hat. I'm like Mr. Positive BC. And this, and you guys know the last 15 years haven't been pretty in BC sports. So, I was a former student manager for Al Skinner from '04 to '08. Jared Dudley, Sean Marshall, Tyrese Rice, all
No,
those guys.
those were the
Yeah.
years.
Sean
Oh
Williams.
man,
Yeah. So I lived in
Craig
Conti
Smith.
Forum for 4 years. But yeah, he just went totally crazy. I still don't really know. I was not trying to be negative at all, really. But at the end of the day, guys, they were 1-8. So, but that's that. You can play the clip and look it up. It was good though. It was a lot of coverage. Rich Eisen show, Dan Lebatard. It got some good attention for BC football.
It was a great moment. It really did go national across all the different channels. And I think, what comes of it as your job is to go in there and as a reporter really try and get the temperature in terms of that. And it's not easy as a 1-8 team. I guess O'Brien sort of lived up to the teapot nickname that he had. I think
Yeah,
that was Brady's nickname for him.
I saw that a couple times this year, man. He goes 0 to 100, and then he goes back. Like he goes, "What's up, Trevor?" After my question, he was like totally fine. He goes a little bit, and then 2 days later, he was normal. He was like fine, like it didn't happen.
Yeah, he's
So
like a volcano.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, I can totally see where that nickname comes from. It's crazy actually. I don't think I've ever really seen it's 0 to 100, and then back to zero. So
Mike, how has that relationship been since that interaction? I know it's
fine,
like off
normal
season
talking
now, but
with you mean with me and Coach O'Brien?
yeah.
Yeah, it was. I saw him the next day. Nothing. He didn't mention anything about it. I didn't mention anything about it either. It's just it was kind of like nothing. And then it just they kept on mounting the losses. So I would say it was fine. At least for my end, it was fine. It was cool.
Business as usual. All right,
Yeah.
Gabe.
Well,
Wear
hopefully
wear
not
wear
too
a big
intense.
smiley face pin.
Yeah. And you guys know BC, the media is, we're not as intense as the Patriots. Imagine the Patriots lost, what was it, 10 straight or something, like or
I
nine
Yeah.
mean, there were two pretty
Oh,
poor seasons, so it was ugly up there for sure. Gabe, let's talk some hockey.
All right, let's do it. BC men's hockey, they're kind of the one shining star right now in the BC athletics department. I can't speak for the women, but as far as the men's leagues go, they're number 13
Yeah.
in the nation. They're 10-5-1. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. This team is looking pretty good. They had some big losses between Ryan Leonard and Gabe Perald, and I think a lot of their struggles early in the season were just kind of adjusting to that. They have a lot of young players, and a Bruin draft pick, Dean Latorno, seems to be. I mean, he had a pretty tough freshman year, but he's really turned things around this year as a sophomore, finding his scoring touch. I think he's won some conference awards. So that's really looking up. I haven't heard too much about James Hagens, but I'm sure he's also contributing quite a bit down there as well. I just wanted to get your take on the hockey team so far and where you think they can go as far as the NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah. So BC hockey East, you guys know that's the SEC for college football for hockey cup here. So I'm never worried, really, truthfully, about BC hockey. They're always going to be in the mix. You got to make the NCAA tournament. 16 teams make it. This is a good time we're talking right now because on that holiday Christmas break, it's kind of like the All-Star break for a much longer time though for Major League Baseball right now. But you mentioned they're 10-5-1, 7-3 in the Hockey East. They're right in the top. They start off a lot higher, but they're right in the mix. So I'm not worried this program. You're following Jerry York, a legend. But it comes down to 3 dates with BC hockey, guys. It's the Beanpot, 3 trophies: the Beanpot, Hockey East, and then the national championship. So the goal every year for BC hockey is they make it to the Frozen Four that weekend, and then you're off and running from there. I love the players. They get players, man. BC is almost immune from the money thing. That might change next couple of years with the NIL with hockey. I'm talking about, but. They get BC, BU, right? When you think college hockey, Minnesota, they get the kids they want. So I like UConn as well down the road. They're pretty good. They're a rising program. But I have no complaints about BC hockey, really, and maybe because it's the other teams that you kind of focused on
Yeah.
for
What the
complaints.
Quick Trip Holiday Bowl isn't a big trophy to win?
But
All
no,
right.
hockey's it's all down. It comes down to Beanpot Hockey's national championship. So
I think, they're well positioned to do it. They have the roster and as you
yeah,
said, the resources. You talked about UConn. Obviously, I think UConn from a college basketball standpoint is the shining star of New England and is one
yep,
of the like true college like teams I think in this area that seems to have like a following and like a fan base that expands beyond just, the Connecticut area. Like there's fans here. There's definitely fans in New York. They pack Madison Square Garden. They packed the Garden in that game
yeah.
against BYU earlier this season. Boston College basketball, not anywhere close to that. Kraz, let's talk a little a little BC hoops in terms of where they're at and get the ball rolling there.
Yeah, as far as I mean, early in the season, still 5-6. What are your expectations for this year as far as the team goes, and where do you see them finishing at the end of the season?
BC basketball, as I mentioned to you guys earlier, it's personal with me. It really is. I was 4 year student manager, 04 to 08. We made the NCAAs, guys, 3 out of my 4 years, and they made it a lot. I think they made it 8 out of 10 years from 2000 to 2010, right? Troy Bell, all the way to Tyrese Rice, Reggie Jackson, Jared Dudley, um, and the list goes on. So it's a huge disappointment. The programs, it's if I had to pick one program, the biggest disappointing thing for me in sports is Boston College men's basketball. Guys, they haven't made the NCAA tournament since 2009. The only school in America that has a longer drought is DePaul, the Blue Demons
Oof.
in the top level. So it's brutal. I don't know how else to say it. Earl Grant, many schools he would have been fired last March. BC, he still has a bigger payout. He got extended 2 years ago after they made the NIT, so they got caught a little bit there. But it's not good, guys. It's not good. The team's some brutal losses to Central. They just lost to UMass. They barely beat New Haven. There's just no flow to the team. It's bad news, Bears. I hope I'm wrong, but I fear the ACC season coming up will be very, very ugly, very ugly. And it's just I wish I could say some more positive things. No one goes to the games. Connie Forum is empty. Yeah, and it's tough for me because we used to sell them out, guys. I don't know if I'm not sure how old you guys were in 2006, but we used to get
Yeah.
8,500 people at Connie Forum. That's the sellout.
I was a senior in high school in '06, and
Yeah,
all I can remember is BC football and BC basketball were always powerhouses, and obviously BC hockey was obviously doing their thing, and it seemed like whenever BC was playing in one of those three sports, you had to watch, and it kind of seems like it's taken a turn. And
it
I
has.
think I think my question for you on basketball is, what do they do to fix the program? Because it's a program with a great storied history, and it just
Yeah.
has fallen off.
Yep. So they got it. Same thing. You got to juice up the NIL. You got to juice it up. The idea of players staying here for 4 years is not going to happen. So you got to just kind of embrace the almost a one and done thing at BC. Schools like Duke, they're in your conference. Can you imagine the Bills had a huge advantage over the Patriots in the AFC East? It's a different sport. I get it, but like you're going against Duke, UNC, you're at the top of the top of the top of college
Yeah.
basketball. You got to fire it up, and yeah, obviously you got to start winning. I don't know if Earl Grant's the answer, guys. I got to be honest with you there. I mean, what can you say to say anything positive, right? I mean, you're just reaching if there's nothing really. So it's a long road. Good thing about basketball, as you guys know, it can take 2 or 3 players versus football. You need like 10 or 15 good players. But the NIL's got to be jacked up. And the worry I have is apathy with BC basketball. Because football is always popular in the fall. But then, as you guys know, it gets cold in the winter here. It's easy to tune them out. The Celtics, the Patriots, Super Bowl's all the way to February now. So it's all about March Madness. BC has to make March Madness. That drought needs to end. I don't know. Oh, I'm getting upset thinking about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
2009 is way too long. Way too long.
I know, at least for us, or at least for me, whenever, bracket time comes around, I look for,
You look for
whatever
BC?
schools, well, no, whatever schools within our region,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
the New England region, I don't really touch the tri-state area. I try to stay away from the,
Yeah.
New York, New
It's bad
Jersey
when it's been
teams.
Harvard more, right? Tommy Amaker, he's been there a lot more the last couple of
Yeah.
years.
Well,
Yeah.
Harvard, yeah, my cousin went to Harvard, and he's a huge fan, like the whole Jeremy Lin thing, and he was
Yep.
like big on that. So
Yep.
Harvard basketball doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't hold a special place in my heart. It just, when it was big, it was talked about quite frequently, and
Yeah.
with my family.
But to your point too, as well, you guys mentioned earlier, UConn. I've looked this up. Is Storrs is 82 miles from Boston College, right? UConn. So that what you can't say the excuse New England, the Northeast, but you can say in college football. There's no geography excuses here. There's so many good prep schools in New Hampshire. There's so much
Hmm.
talent in the Northeast. And UConn, they're not even in the ACC. Think about it. They're in the Big East, which is a traditional lower. Now you can make the argument basketball. It's equal to ACC,
Yeah.
obviously. But why can UConn win 6 titles in 25 years?
I think what you said earlier, Mike, there
Yeah.
are teams that sort of have like BC hockey has like this
Yep,
doesn't have the issue of getting players to come there. I think UConn is like that for basketball. Like they have money, but they also have this culture and going all the
for
way back
sure.
to obviously the Jim Calhoun years.
Well, remember,
Which
UConn before Jim Calhoun was like BC a lot, and there
right,
was not
right.
really, there wasn't much there. Don
And that's what
Farmer,
it takes. It takes a
yeah,
coach like Jim Calhoun or Dan
yep.
Hurley to also come into a program and do what they do and completely flip it on its head.
How
Uh,
about Jim Calhoun at Northeastern? Oh my gosh, mid
Right?
'80s, he was there for BC to hire him.
Yeah, I mean,
Reggie
listen,
Lewis.
the BC's got to make some decisions to clean up their basketball team. You mentioned, Mike, you mentioned winter. We want to talk what we call the lightning round with you now. We'll get you out of here on this. So we each have one question for you in terms of just random things, not much to do with sports, just getting to know you a little bit. So Gabe, why don't you kick us off with the lightning round?
Absolutely, Mike. It's freezing out there. What's your number one winter activity?
Outside, you mean? Like, yeah.
Anything, it's up to you, my
Anything.
friend.
That's a tough one.
Could be
I like to
hibernation.
ski. I like to ski.
Okay.
Uh, I like to play basketball, pick up basketball. That's inside though. It's kind of a, but I would say ski. Yeah,
What's your mountain of choice?
I love Stowe, man. I love Stowe. That's a big time mountain, obviously. Um, Growing up in Connecticut locally, it was Ski Sundown back in the day. It was like high school. I don't know if you know, but it's a smaller mountain over there.
Hey, they
Nice.
all go down the hill. All right, Jamie, take us down.
Some faster than others, though.
Very
Yeah,
true.
way faster.
I'm a green
So
dot or bunny hill guy.
yeah,
You're not a double diamond.
I haven't been here, so
Not going
I
anywhere
don't.
near that.
Well, at least you go to the bar afterwards, right? The base of the
I'll
mountain.
meet you
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
lodge by the
That's the
fire
best
anytime.
part.
Hot brace.
If I can, yeah, if I make it down the mountain.
Right.
So, Mike, what's your this is you can take this either way. What was the best Christmas holiday gift that you've ever received, or like trip, like holiday trip that you've been on, if you've been on a holiday
So
trip?
I might show my age up. I remember being really pumped about N64.
Oh
Oh
hell
my
yeah!
God,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
Love
that
What
it.
game
was,
did
I
you
remember
get?
that
Do you
for
remember
big
what
years.
game you got with it?
Um, it was like I think it was the Mario one, wasn't it? The classic one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Mario
Yeah.
64.
And then Mario Kart was popular too.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good
Mario
one.
Party was great. Oh yeah.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Oh,
Oh,
Golden.
That was
And then
a
I like Dreamcast too. That was a different year, but Sega Dream that
Dreamcast
was like my
was
height for video games.
Dreamcast
nice.
had they had a different couple of games, Sonic, and they had a couple different really
Sonic.
good
Crazy
ones.
Taxi.
Crazy
Yeah.
Taxi, I
Oh,
love
Crazy
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 Taxi
Taxi.
was
Crazy
great.
Taxi.
I think that
That
Underrated
was
was
a
game.
great
Sega.
game. They
Un
need to redo the they need to remaster that game, Crazy Taxi.
I
They
used
do.
to play that game for hours.
Same, same. Dude, picking people up and just going.
Hey, it was Uber before Uber.
That's right.
the most pointless game. You literally just drove a car around these random maps doing ridiculous stuff, but you would sit
Absolutely
there for
nothing.
hours.
So I was
N64,
gonna say,
it
yeah,
was
no,
was incredible. Go ahead, Chris.
well, no, I was gonna say. Speaking of sitting in cars, when you're sitting in the car, what do you like to throw on the old radio? Do you have like a music preference? Like we're
Yeah.
all
Yeah, so I usually just do serious, to be honest with you. That's my thing. So a little, Tom Petty, Dave Matthews, that you think classic, a little
yeah.
90s on 9.
Nice.
Then Mad Dog. I love Mad Dog. Chris Mad Dog Russo, sports talk there. So
That's it.
I'm a serious guy. A little bit of sports hub, right? In Boston after the games, maybe. I gotta get Felger Mass to talk a little more BC though, man. Dang.
Good
I
luck.
know.
Don't count on that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
and if they do
that's
talk
good
about it,
luck.
it might not be the most positive things.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Hey,
Felger's a
listen,
PU guy.
well, your podcast and what you're doing is obviously the go-to place
Thank you, thank you.
for BC news, and obviously we try and chime in and get the pulse on things and bring it to the people as well. So, Mike, we'll get you out of here on this. Where can folks follow you on social media? What do you have going on in terms of all your different things where people can find you?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Lightscamerasports.com is where everything is. Lightscamerasports.com. And also give me a follow on X. Mike underscore my last name, Gualtieri. Mike underscore Gualtieri. So yeah, I'm always on X. I'm giving some takes. So yeah, lightscamerasports.com, Lights Camera Sports Podcast on Apple. That's where I am.
Love it. Mike, really appreciate your time for being with us, going through all things Boston College sports, talking Patriots with us at the top of the episode. We hope you have a great night, and we'll be in touch. Have a great holiday season coming up.
We need to get to the college football playoff too. Next time, maybe.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
next time.
Hey guys, thank you so much. And seriously, thank you for allowing me to give BC a little bit of airtime. Really appreciate it.
Oh, of
Absolutely.
course. Looking
Have a
forward to
great
having
night,
you on in the
Mike.
future.
Cool.
Thanks,
Take
Mike.
care.
Yeah, thanks for
Thanks,
hopping
guys.
on, Mike. Have a great night.
Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. You too, guys. Thank you.
All right, Mike Gualtieri joining us, talking all things BC. Let's talk about. But he just reminded us, college football playoff. Let's chime in. Anyone want to chime in on any of the things going on college football playoff wise? It's coming up Friday night and Saturday. Big E, you look like you're ready to launch.
Yeah, I think like we have one of the best games coming up on Friday. You have Oklahoma and
Finally.
Alabama, which I think honestly, looking at all the things, all the games that are up on the slate this weekend, probably the game that I'm looking forward to the most. I think they're the most well-matched teams out of any of the four contests. I think it's nice that it's also a nice little Friday night appetizer, getting you a little started on
Yeah.
your weekend.
Love a
But
good
that's the
app.
game.
I
That's the
think
game that I'm looking forward to the most.
I would say I'm very interested in the Tulane Ole Miss game just because of the Lane Kiffin going to LSU debacle, and I want to see how that team responds. Without their head coach, and I don't think I mean Tulane is actually pretty good, but to beat an SEC team that would be quite something. That'd be a big upset.
Speaking of upsets, I think I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen, but James Madison versus Oregon, would love to see it. You'd love to see just one of those schools that just have like no chance. It is a 5 versus 12, if we want to think March Madness. So I don't know, just throwing that little juju in there. So
Does Too Tall play for Oregon?
yeah, I don't know, but man, let's hope. Let's hope. Let's go, James Madison. Let's go.
Hey, go
I mean,
Dukes.
Wait, wasn't James
I mean-
Madison in 1AA?
They were.
They used to be. They used to be. They
in
used
the
to be.
same conference as URI, I
I
believe.
remember you or I used to play them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Notre Dame is thinking we should be there instead of James Madison. Well, you want to know Notre
Uh,
Dame? You're sitting at home. Enjoy it.
Indeed, it'll be a great weekend kicking off with the college football playoff. Then you get into this is like the wild card weekend. Then you get into next weekend, which is like the divisional round with the top seeds back in action. So we'll be looking forward to that. We also had a few final notes around the NFL that we wanted to touch on. Some big news coming out of the Kansas City game. And we can certainly touch on that. Old Man Rivers comes back.
Oh man,
Grandpa.
Jaden Daniels
played a pretty decent
taking a
game.
seat.
Looked okay. Yeah, he looked okay.
He played a pretty decent game for playing in Seattle.
I mean,
Only
he
losing
dinked
by
in-
what, 3?
They lost on a last minute field goal. He got them.
Yeah,
and
they lost by
he was
Seattle
trying-
defense is legit. So
Yes,
yeah.
they are.
Yeah, but
So,
you can't
kudos
trust
to
Sam
him.
Darnold. You can't trust that guy. In
Well, that
playoff
guy can
games.
that guy can field the fucking team of his own if he wanted, with his
Sam
own kids.
Darnold?
No,
No,
Philip
Rivers.
Rivers.
Oh
He's
yeah,
got like
No.
15 kids,
Old
Yeah,
man
he's-
Rivers.
He's a
doing-
grandpa.
He is a grandpa.
and he's a
which
grandpa too.
Is he
fucking-
the first? Is he the first grandpa that's been a starting
No.
quarterback
No,
in
that'll be
NFL
LeBron
history?
James.
No, in NFL history.
No, I don't believe so. J Matt,
Patty,
talk about.
I want
Kansas
to talk
City.
about Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, that's
As much
not
as we
good.
all hate Pat Mahomes and we hate
Couple big
Kansas City,
injuries.
They were officially eliminated from the playoffs
Which
yesterday. So
I will applaud that.
yep,
I'll
first
applaud
time in
that.
I think what 10 years or something like
Let's
Ha.
that. Yeah, so
go. Fuck the Chiefs.
but
But
yeah, but you never want to see someone go out, especially late in the game with an ACL injury, which was kind of like a meaningless play, to be quite honest. The game they were down by three, I think, at that point, and
I don't know why they were
um,
throwing the ball. I
it
didn't get it.
he just didn't love it. He was out on the run, and I didn't love the tackle from the defender too. Like, I mean,
I
I
mean,
think I
Yeah.
think that it kind of went low, so not great, not a great look. And don't want to see that. So I kind of feel bad for him. But he'll be back. He'll be back strong.
Yeah, I hope.
ACLs they heal quickly. And the whole thing was is they were within field goal range. I mean, I guess they were trying to go for the win. They were trying to win it at home, and I understand that, but I mean, like you said, late in the game, why bother? I mean, it's
Season's like
just
out of hand. Like you're not gonna do,
yeah,
like
it's
what are you
just
gonna do,
like
really?
why bother? It's just and it goes back to there's really it's tough with running quarterbacks because they get hit when they're running from the lateral side, and it's just it's a tough thing to do when your knee's structured a certain way, and physics only works one way, and you get hit like that, and it's just or you try and step out and something hyperextends, and the game is just much more quicker than it was even 5 years ago than what it is now. So
He's got to change the way he plays when he comes back because the way that he's played historically, like he won't be able to sustain that as a running quarterback. And he's got a great arm, so like he can rely on his arm to win the games for him. But I think the one thing that I wanted to point out about Kansas City this year, this is not a talent issue, right? That roster has a lot of talent on it. Candidly, like I would say they're similarly talented to the team that lost the Super Bowl last year. Where they lost this year was coaching and not being able to win the one score games. And that's, I think, where you can say that over the last decade, the Chiefs have always been great. So to me, this is kind of a little bit of a shifting of the guard. Yes, I think you always have to be aware of Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid as, the coach and QB combo, but um, disappointing year from them. They really kind of it's not a
hit
talent
the
issue. And
bed.
I think that's the big thing that I wanted to call out here is they're still a talented roster. It is about their execution and their coaching and their game planning. They shit the bed.
I mean, to your point, Eric, like Mahomes is going to have to change the way he plays. He's going to have to be a more of a pocket passer, I think, when he comes back from that ACL. But it makes me think of Brady too. It's like he never had to change his game to make our team great, and it just is like another just
So
another kind of contrast to Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. It's like we'll see how Mahomes comes off the injury. But for Brady, he had that knee injury, but he really didn't have to change the way he played. He's a pure pocket passer.
To you Chiefs apologists too. One last thing on this, and then I'll throw it back to the other guys, or we'll move on. Do not use this injury for Patrick Mahomes as the reason for why they sucked this year. They were already basically eliminated from the playoffs
Yeah.
by the time this injury occurred. So this
there's
is not
12%
anything. This
chance
is never
going into the
anything that
He's
happened
Chargers
been
in
game.
the
sucking.
this did not happen in the Brady Patriot era. The only time they did not make the playoffs in the Brady Patriot era was in 2002, where
What
they
was their
tied
record
for
that
the
year?
division. They tied for the division, and they ended up losing just on tiebreakers. So Tom Brady never played in an NFL game that was a regular season game where there wasn't like a chance of him making the playoffs.
I
So
all
Patrick Mahomes,
AKA
suck
the
it.
best.
no, it's also, I mean, the last thing I want to talk
Get
about the
better though.
Chiefs
Please get
is
better.
I think their issue has been drafting and development too, just like the Patriots have been in the past few years. Like they drafted Pacheco, and who's their running back right now? Kareem Hunt. Like and the guy what Rasheed Rice, like
Sheet Rice, yeah.
Rasheed Rice, he's great, but he can't be on the field for the first 6 games of the year.
Taekwon
Like
Thornton
What
or
about
you're
Clyde
already shooting yourself in the
Clyde
foot.
Edwards-Helaire?
So
Clyde
yeah,
Edwards-Helaire a couple
yeah,
yeah.
years
like
ago too.
See,
Like
see,
swing and a miss.
I think they have a draft and development issue too. I think it's a little bit further deeper than just the coaching and quarterback there.
And there's only so much that Mahomes can cover for, especially that that's a team that's played a ton of football. And the same thing, we've mentioned this. I feel like the Chiefs are like we're like the '09 Patriots, right? Like they're obviously not going to make the playoffs now, but it's like this is where the Chiefs either prove that they are like the Patriots and go on this second half sort of run, or all credit due to them for the spectacular, shall I say, 7, 8 year run that they've had here. But what Brady and Belichick did was twice this, 3 times this. It's they're not even close yet, and that's what I think all the Chiefs people have to say is like this is actually the moment in time in which we will see if it goes to a second half or not. Like it is pretty unreal how it's mirrored in terms of their careers, but that's pretty much where this lands. Devastating though, because you do want to see the Chiefs in the playoffs. You do want to slay the dragon, if you will, as Jack Edwards would say, in terms of going through the teams that you have to
Fine,
play.
baby,
So,
fine.
speaking of Jack Edwards, I think it's time that we keep this train moving on the tracks and talk a little Boston Bruins, Gabe. A gross loss to Minnesota yesterday, but the roller coaster keeps going.
It keeps going. The Bruins 19 and 14 and 0 this year. They've won again two of their last three games since we last met. They did go on a four-game winning streak, so things are still going well in Bruins land. You mentioned Plotty, just an awful loss last night at the Minnesota Wild. I do feel like uh, I don't know. There was a huge trade in the NHL, a few days ago with Quinn Hughes getting traded to the Minnesota Wild for a bunch of prospects and picks going back to Vancouver. So Quinn Hughes actually debuted against the Bruins that game. I think that gave that locker room a lot of juice. I think Minnesota was also on a winning streak of their own. So Quinn Hughes, I think, gave them that juice, and I think that's ultimately, one of the reasons why they potentially got blown out there. But they roll on. I mean, they beat the Blues. Secondary scoring was huge in that game. That's not something you always say with this Bruins team. When you have Pasternak and Geeky kind of leading the way at the top with goals scoring. But it's good to see young guys such as like Fraser Minton chip in, and then you get the grinders like Mark Kasterlik, and so it's always good to have those players that can score on the bottom lines.
I think one.
And as you see, beat the Blues 5-2. They beat the Jets 6-3. I mean, when the bottom lines are going, they're scoring. So I think that's also a pretty
Covered, baby.
nice
Go
team
ahead,
this year.
Big E, jump in.
Yeah, and I was gonna say even the loss of the Wild, like you said, you're playing a team that's coming off of a big trade with Quinn Hughes, so they're obviously a little bit juiced up. They're already off of a nice winning streak themselves. I'm not as down on the loss, and honestly, candidly, if you're gonna lose, I'd rather get blown out than to lose a close one because you don't get any, pity points for being close, right? And this
Mhm.
team clearly doesn't lose in overtime. So whenever we see overtime, we know that hey, that's typically a good sign for this team. But yeah, I don't think I'm super concerned by that. I think if anything. I've been really impressed by how they've played through a lot of adversity so far this season. So, there's a long road to go for the Bruins, but I think if anything, they've exceeded our expectations so far.
For
Yeah,
sure.
no, to your point, you you're gonna get a loss on a 3 game road trip, and that was the third game coming home. So that's okay to lose one of those games. You go 2 out of 3, take four out of 6 points. I'm okay with that, especially when the first period of the Jets game was awful. They came out so flat. I mean, I was watching that and they didn't look like came to play, and then all of a sudden that second period was a completely different game. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was said in the room, but when they want to find their game, they're a tough team to play against. They hit the corners, they hit the edges, they hit the boards hard. They're tough in the neutral zone. I like what they do. But that's again when they want to find their game and when they want to play to that level. So if they want to play down, I mean we've seen it. They're not great. So they have to find their game. They have to get up for every night. They can't take any nights off this team. But I think they're okay. And so the one thing I think that was concerning was the Swayman started the game on Sunday against the Wild, right? So
Yeah.
that was a little concerning. It was to see him let up 6. So
Hurting
one
his
thing that
chances to start for USA.
yeah, not great, not great.
We'll see what comes of
Yeah,
that.
I mean
That's coming up soon.
that's definitely a tough look, and Swayman's had a few games like that where he's let up a ton of goals and he's gotten pulled, and Korpisalo's gotten two starts in a row, and so there, we praise Swayman in previous episodes, and then we come back and it's like, so I just think Swayman's having
He's responded though, I think, pretty
Yeah,
well when he's been taken out of those
You
games.
know,
So that's at least been a positive, and that's
yeah,
something you
for
got to think
sure.
about. And I think my only complaint about that loss to the Wild is could have been better timed. After the Patriots losing for the first time in
I
11 weeks,
know.
it could have been
terrible.
nice, a nice little morale boost to have the
Push
Bruins
the
win.
dagger
But
in a
There
little
was
it's
there
just
further.
was one morale boost though on the road trip was Charlie McAvoy came back. So that
Yeah.
yes,
that was we didn't mention that. So that was great to see. You didn't really. I mean, it's first couple games back. I don't really see much of a drop off. He did lose a ton of weight apparently, like you said last week, Gabe. So
Yeah.
we'll see if that affects him. But great to see him back. Great to get him back in the lineup. They did go 6-5 without him, so they didn't play bad. They actually were over 500, so good to get him back in the lineup.
Boys,
Yeah. I
quick
mean,
little not a hockey tidbit, but hockey gambling tidbit. I've been following Elio, one of our guests, quite a bit, and
Mr. Ice.
yeah, that's right.
he's been he's on this journey, and I'm riding with him. And I was talking to Gabe about it, and I rode 5.5 over 5.5 with Bruins and against St. Louis, and he, he came through. So it's I
Money in
highly
the
suggest
bank.
Thank you,
it.
Mr.
Shorty, what
Ice.
you drink?
What's that?
All right.
I think,
Bruins.
well, no, I think also just last episode, I had mentioned I wasn't sure if McAvoy or Pasternak were going to make it on this road trip, and they both made it and played really well and helped this team succeed. So it's great to see them back, and just gives you the team and fans more confidence in them moving forward.
No doubt. 4-game homestand at the Garden coming up, so some
Hell
home
yeah.
cooking around the holidays for the Bruins. They keep it rolling in a Tuesday game against the Mammoth of Utah, and then
Should we should we get the
so
bull gang out?
a home game Canadian threesome. I
Oh,
just had to mention that, and all the girls are coming to Boston this week, so we'll
It's
talk
better at
about
home.
we'll talk about them.
Tyler Sagan.
Well, not
You're
the
great.
prettiest
I loved
not
your
the prettiest
play
girl of the
here
bunch.
in
Then
Boston.
Miss Montreal. They're not coming, unfortunately.
No,
oh, unfortunately. But that's
let's
okay. That's okay. We still have some good teams coming. We got McJesus coming on Thursday, so that's going to be
Like,
exciting.
yeah.
And then we obviously have the not the rival, but our last cup team winning team that beat the Vancouver Canucks. So it's
Canucks.
always fun to have them in town as well.
Absolutely.
no
Because
doubt.
they
No,
don't
you
we
want to
don't we
know
don't start we don't start riots here like they
quite
do at home.
honestly, the best part of all the Canadian teams coming is you get 3 Canadian anthems. You gotta give some respect to the Canadian anthem.
More Todd
It's
Angeli, the better.
yes,
Yes.
Excellent. We
undoubtedly
love we love Todd.
with our buddy Ron Poster
Trying to think.
on the keyboard
That's
as
right.
well with
That's
the
Or
right.
organ.
You've
Yeah.
heard
So
both of them, huh? What's
ties
up?
Well,
everywhere when it comes to the sports
What is a
community.
Canadian?
oh
Biggie,
Canada.
let's talk
Yeah.
the
Oh,
team in green. You got your green on
Canada.
tonight, I see.
Yeah,
And your
let's get the
background.
bull game going. Let's change over from the ice to the court to the
Oh,
parquet.
man,
And
native land.
True.
unfortunately, we're moving on from Canada, guys. Not a lot to talk
Sorry,
about
just
with
got
the with
stuck in
the
my
with.
head now.
All right,
It's a
not a lot
great
to talk.
anthem.
It is actually.
Take it away, please, please.
No, you're good.
No, Sam, go ahead.
We
Can
stand
you
on
do the
God.
French?
We
Can you
stand
do
on
the
God
French
for
version?
thee. No, I can't do the French. Sorry, it got stuck in my head and it had to play through. It's all right. We
Eric,
played
take
through
it
it.
away
All right,
on the
so
fucking Celtics.
All right,
the
let's
Celtics are
go.
on a
Back on the
15
tracks,
pass.
Eric. Back on
And
the tracks.
last game that we played was against the Giannis-less Bucks, where we lost 116 to 101.
Eric, I hope you're ready to talk Red Sox in a second. No,
Oh, I'm about to
Eric,
dive in on the Sox.
oh yeah,
Not
we do
before
have
I
a lot
do.
to talk about with them. But
Oh,
Biggie,
I don't
give us
know.
your
I don't know. I might have some some hot takes here. So we'll see. I think, just in general, when we were talking to Sean Grandy last week, he alluded to the fact that based on the way that the schedule was kind of created for this NBA Cup, it was kind of they were going to fall into kind of a lull over this past week. Not from like a standpoint of like they didn't want to play the games, it's just a scheduling concern. So they had one game against the Bucks that you alluded to, Sam. Great first half, really bad second half. Bobby Portis and
Oh,
Kyle
sounds
Kuzma.
familiar, like this, like the Pats.
Yeah, right. It's we got a couple patterns here that are moving forwards. Yeah, but I think just in general, this is kind of something that we've noticed with the team this year. They kind of play up to the competition as well as they play down, and the Giannis less Bucks definitely a team you play down to. So they've played down to them this evening. They're playing the Detroit Pistons, the conference leading Detroit Pistons. So
Winning at
um,
halftime.
Up four
Win,
About to
half.
say,
winning at halftime in a tight
up
game.
by
So
4, 57-53.
there'll be
Bada bing, bada boom.
obviously a tight second half that will come here, but it's nice to see the guys get back to playing after really kind of taking a little bit of a break. And honestly, maybe not the worst thing in the world for these guys to get a little bit of time off in the middle of the stretch run here. Disappointed that they're not going to be playing on Christmas, and yeah, really disappointed in the NBA just for only having, I think, two Eastern Conference teams playing on Christmas Day.
Oh,
Really, really, really poor. I mean, yes, I know
New
the
York.
Western Conference is really where it's at. And the one Eastern Conference game that they have going on Christmas, and we can talk about this next week, is at noon. It's literally the Knicks in Cleveland, and then every other game is West Coast based. So I'm a little disappointed by
is
that one. I was
LA
looking
in
through it's
there?
like, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Come
They
on, come on.
suck.
Yeah, but they have Luca and they have LeBron.
No,
They have
they're
draws.
having a great year actually.
It's flat
Yeah,
out disrespectful. The Celtics aren't playing on Christmas. Adam Silver has, in my opinion, actually become my least favorite commissioner across sports. I will always hate Goodell, but at least he's sort of stayed out of the way. I think many of the decisions Adam Silver has made has been terrible for the league and the gambling situation and all the other stuff. That alien isn't doing anything to help
Who
Whoa.
help
knows? Who
basketball,
knows?
in my opinion.
Maybe he's involved in this whole entire thing, and he can go down with
He
hey,
might
David
he could
Stern.
be getting a cut.
the Lucchesi
David Stern
family.
was certainly getting a cut. I mean, think of the guy. I mean, David Stern's also brilliant. It's like you have your best player in the league gambling. You say to him, "Why don't you go play minor league baseball for 2 years? We'll sweep this under the rug, and then you can come back."
The
Like
one
He
The
that's
one
could
thing
back
I
one
to
will
way
his
to
butt
deal
say,
with
too.
the
it.
one thing I will say about Adam Silver is he has done a pretty good job of making sure that they get that television money though. So that's one thing you cannot come at him for.
Yeah, he gets the money, and then you sit there trying to figure out what fucking
Exactly.
channel the
Exactly.
game is
Yeah,
on.
yeah. He might gets the money for all the owners, but he fucks us in the end.
Isn't this one on Peacock tonight?
It's always on the cock.
No, it's on right on MSNBC. But if you have Peacock, you can order it. I guess. I don't fucking know.
We got Peacock over here in the Metalski household.
We are. It's just ridiculous. Like
Hey,
I was talking about last.
if any of you women, if any of your women folk love the Bravo, you got to get the Peacock. So we got the Peacock.
Oh yeah, you watching Below Deck over there?
Hell yeah, bro. Love Below Deck.
What else you got going? Summer House, Southern Charm. Tell me more about your.
I love Summer House. Summer House is great.
I mean, it's sad. Kyle and Amanda, who knows? Drink your lover
Yeah,
boy.
it's good.
This is your pop culture minute, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
know who's
Eric,
got a yacht
Potentially a little
that,
potentially
who's got a
separated right
below
now.
deck yacht? Mr.
Who's
John
that?
Henry of the Boston Red Sox.
Oh,
He
sure
belongs
does.
in
He
a
probably rents
fucking
that thing
look at
out
that
by
transition.
$1 million
He
a
definitely
night.
does.
He
So
probably-
I'm immediately just gonna give him a 5-minute major. He can just actually, can we just eject him from the fucking game? Like, get him out of here.
You're
Like,
out of here.
that guy is and that ownership is as stagnant as the water in this fucking plant. Okay, people.
Gross.
All right,
The
that's
prop.
where we're going with
I
this.
thought that was
We're bringing
gonna
out
be
props.
a water
I
fight.
definitely thought that was going to be
Hey,
something
you know
else.
what, you guys? I don't know where your minds are, but I was going with this plant. All right, so
Scientist
anyways,
Sam is here.
Scientist Sam's favorite
I
plan,
just
everyone.
don't fucking understand. Like they go and they make all these moves last offseason. They acquire a number one starter. They sign Bregman to a $40 million a year deal with multiple opt-outs. And now they're just fucking sitting there with their thumbs in their ass. And it's like, what are we doing? Like it go one way or another. It's getting to the point where it's like, I am I mad that they didn't sign Alonso? No, it's whatever. I don't really care. I just wanted to see some sort of traction at the winter meetings, at least like something, because we obviously need that middle of the order bat. I mean, like it's I understand it's a business, but if you want to come out and say that you didn't want to sign Pete Alonso to a 5-year deal because you were worried about his age, then why the fuck did you sign JD Martinez to the same exact fucking deal? Actually, JD Martinez, I believe, was 1 year older than Pete Alonso. And JD Martinez brought us a fucking World Series. So it's just that's my whole thing is just it's
I'll tell you what it is, Sam. The ownership has had a mind shift change. I mean, JD Martinez, they were willing to do that back then, but ever since getting rid of Mookie and now trading Devers, like you can see that the front office clearly has a different mindset about signing these big long-term deals for big money. They just for some reason they're so
But
against it, and
I
I don't know why.
I think that's I think but I think that's starting to be the trend towards in the MLB with contracts anyways. I mean, last year Bregman didn't sign until like 4 days before spring training. So I mean, again, I'm not really worried about them getting a big bat. There's a ton of big bats out there for them to get, and I'll get into that in a minute. But it's just the big thing is it's just there's no fight for with them anymore, and it's fucking frustrating as fuck. They have this
Mhm.
super young core that they can do a lot with, and they had a guy that they could have cemented at first base for the next 5 years, and they just let him walk through the door because of a few fucking $1 million. And it's like, I know I say it every single fucking episode, but for a fucking vodka lemonade this big, it's fucking $14, and it's like, you know,
Probably it's probably $20 going into next season, being
But
honest, right?
they'll get people to pay that because Fenway Park is a destination, and I've heard on the radio they get the Oklahoma people from in the middle of the summer that take their Boston vacation and go see the Red Sox, and it the concessions is not the issue. It's my issue with the ownership and everything is like, and as a fan is like. And as a fan, we have to take ownership of this too. Is we need to just stop getting duped into this shit. Like take everything what they say with a grain of salt until it actually happens. Until that pen hits the paper,
Will Fleming
like
got
do not
crucified.
believe anything that they say. Don't
That
believe
was
it.
not everybody. It was pretty much one person, and it was Will Fleming, and he put out a lot of stuff, and he literally is taking a hiatus from
Yeah.
social media right
I
now
mean,
because
Sam,
Yeah, but you can't
that's
say
what's
that. You
most
can't do
frustrating
that.
to me is like the reporting on the Red
Yeah,
Sox, and
ever reporting
especially
yeah,
about
from the
it.
local guys have been
me too.
complete like, do they work for the Red Sox? Like, I'm
Yeah,
confused because
apparently.
they were supposed to get Alonso and Bregman. Now
Yeah.
it's like, are we even getting Bregman? I don't know. Like,
Well,
it's
here's the
just
thing.
it's very frustrating to
We have
think
to
you're in on
realize
every
Yep.
player and just you get nothing.
we got to realize we have a
Interest
first
Kings.
base. We have a 30 home run power hitting first baseman coming back. We have to realize that.
Who sucks? Casas? Casas sucks.
No, he
I hate
doesn't.
Casas.
He's weird, but he
Ah,
doesn't suck.
You
I
can't
mean,
rely on him. You
you
can't
can't.
rely on
He's
him.
not
He
reliable.
goes
He's
up
also
and down.
coming
Yeah,
back.
he's injury plagued, but if he's healthy, he's a guy that's going to give you 30 bombs from the left hand side. What I'm
How
trying
many
to
times?
say,
How many times is he going to strike out to give you those 30 bombs?
I don't know. I have no idea, dude. We're not even at the season yet. What I'm trying to say is that we do have someone there at first base. The point I'm trying to make is I really don't think it's Breslow because at the end of the day, Breslow is trying to convince John Henry to sign a check. That's what's going on. And if we're putting up this much of a fight with just signing free agents, no one's gonna want to fucking come here. And that's what's really bothering me is that we have these 2 3 young really talented guys, and I don't want to waste their prime years when we could be surrounding them with prime talent. And it's just like, come on, like
See,
this.
Sam, I kind of disagree with that because I do think people want to come here. Like Crochet came here last year and Bregman did come here. If they're willing to pay the players, it's
Yeah.
all about the money. If they will do it, the players will come. It's a destination. Boston's great in the summer. Like who doesn't love playing here? You're crazy if you don't. And to be honest, like that monster and the feel and the way that Fenway's set up, it plays to a lot of players at strengths. So I think that's a crazy statement saying that players don't want to come here. I think
No,
that
I'm not
ownership needs
saying
to
players
pay.
don't want to come here. I'm saying no one will want to come here.
I just don't agree with that. I think players will want to come here. I think ownership has to be willing to pay them, and they will.
In their defense, I think what they're banking on is they have gone to this Tampa Bay sort of model of signing your younger players to contracts and early on and hoping that they produce and get you over the hump. But the fact of the matter is that to compete with the teams that are going after World Series, and I think Gabe, you said this about the reporting. Every single Red Sox reporter is brutal.
Way off.
It's
Oh,
and it's and it's and it's awful. And it's like Chris Cotillo says they're in on him,
And they were
and
on too
Sam
at
Brown
one
says
point.
they're in on him, and Carabas says this, and Lou says that, and Will Fleming thinks they're really going to get something done. And it's like you're all sitting there saying that something's going
Crickets.
to happen, and literally nothing happens. So right back to what J Matt said, you can't believe a fucking word any of the people say when it comes to the Red Sox. The proof is in the pudding at the end of the day. Did you make the fucking deal or did you not make the deal? And right now they haven't done shit. That's what it comes down to.
Sam, and I
And
think sorry
well,
to interrupt you.
no,
I
you're
just
good.
think like I don't think players are going to want to come here to make your point is because they're going to players and lowballing them so bad
That's
that it's offensive. It's
That's
like if
exactly what I
someone
was gonna
comes
get
to
But
to.
you
they
and
aren't
offers
though,
you a
because like
They are, they are, they are lowballing them.
They pay Crochet if they like the player. If they think the player is good enough and young enough,
Crochet is getting a team
they
deal.
will pay the player. They're paying Roman Anthony. It's they have
those
to
are
So
extensions
what? You
though.
have to be 22
it
years
has
old
to
for them
be
to pay you? Like
yes,
that's
it
what
But
it
you
has
comes
have
to
to
be
down
be
to?
yes,
you have to be
yes,
part of the
yes.
Not in
organization.
a big market.
You have to be
Yes.
a part of the organization for them to pay you. They
For the
will
Red
not
Sox,
pay. They will
they
not pay the
have
free
No,
agents.
no,
they
no,
have
no,
to
no, no.
come out on
Look at the
top.
Dodgers. Look at the Dodgers. They're paying all this
John Henry
fucking
has to feel
money.
like he wins the deal. He has to feel like he wins, and
He's not
that's what
gonna,
it is.
but that's not how baseball works. They overpaid for Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz, I'm telling you right now, is gonna have a shitty year for the Dodgers. But he's their fucking closer, and he's one of the best closers in baseball. But what did the Dodgers do? They went out and they overpaid for him, and they got him. And guess what? They made their team even better than what it already fucking is. That's what you
I
have to
just
do in the
disagree with you
MLB.
guys saying that player Bregman came here, Crochet came here. Players will come here if they're willing to
I'm not
open up
saying they
the
will not come
checkbooks.
here. I'm saying if they keep playing this
If they don't
business
pay him,
game,
they won't.
if they keep playing this business game, they're going to be like, fuck that. I'll just go play
But
with
they've
like
been
Edwin
doing
Diaz did.
but
I'm just going
no,
to go
dude,
play with the Dodgers
no,
because it's
you're
easier.
wrong.
They're
You
going to
guys are
pay
wrong.
me, and not
You're
only going
wrong,
to pay
Sam.
me,
Sam,
but they're going to win.
they traded Mookie
How?
Betts. They did him dirty. They did Lester dirty. This is old news. They've been doing this for decades now. Like, and players still want to come here if they will pay them. It's just you have to do it on
Well, anyone's
the
going to
first
come here if
time.
you
You
pay
can't
them.
exactly. That's my point. You have to do it on the first time, and you can't dick around, and you have to do it. Like Crochet, they didn't fuck around because they know he's a stud.
But
Like
if
go
I'm
out and
Bregman
get.
now and I'm going to get a similar deal that
They're
Detroit's
fucking
giving
around
me to
with Bregman.
Boston,
If I'm
I'm
Bregman,
going to go
I
to
don't
Detroit.
exactly. They're fucking around with him, and I think
Yeah. So
that's
why would they want to come here?
So
I
that
think what they're doing
it's
with
what
Bregman's
J
stupid.
Matt said. It's either open up the fucking checkbook and say that
Yes.
you're serious, and
That's what I've been saying the whole time.
yeah, but the problem is that if the Red Sox, you're right, Sam, in terms of what you've been saying. Like players aren't going to come here, but players aren't coming here because they keep lowball. Like if Baltimore is going to go offer Pete Alonso 5 years and 150 million, and you were coming in at 3 and 85, right back to the reporting, then why were you saying that the Red Sox were ever in on Pete Alonso? They weren't. They were never
Exactly.
in on Pete Alonso.
Exactly.
That's
They should have just given him
bullshit.
150
It's bullshit.
for
So the
5 years.
reporters really need to go fuck off because
Agreed.
like they honestly they all suck. They have not reported anything accurate when it comes to the Red Sox and what they're doing from a deal standpoint. They're in on fucking everybody, and then they go back 24 to 48 hours and say the Red Sox offer was 2 years and 8 million, but this player got 3 years and 42 million. It's like that's literally what happens with every single one of these free agents. We could go on and on and on and on, fellas, about this. The fact of the matter is that the Fenway Five might need to start dusting off the boots and signs and pitchforks because it's I'm feeling
John
that
Henry,
sort
you
of
can
way.
fucking arrest me for trespassing. I don't give a flying fuck.
I just want
I
to point
really
out that
don't give a shit. You
I
fucking suck. Your business
I
model sucks. I can't enjoy watching baseball because of your fucking stupid, petty bullshit, cheap ass, and your fucking like for strawberry
Beef.
ice cream.
I think at the end of the day, like the offseason is not done, right? They
No,
still
it's
have
not.
more
It's not.
moves to be made. So while you guys are all pissed at John
And we have a
Henry
lot
and
of young
rightfully
guys
so,
coming up too.
while you're all pissed at John Henry and you all rightfully should be, let's see what happens over the rest of the next couple of months. Because maybe they do re-sign a Bregman, maybe they do go and get someone else that's out there, maybe they go get a Bo Bichette, right? And I'm not saying that these things will happen. I'm just saying let's not go and crucify them for things that they haven't done yet. When it comes time for February and they haven't done any of the things that I don't think that they're going to do, then it's time to crucify them. We can drop kick John Henry, we can do whatever we want. But for right now, they do still have a job to do, and this team could be much more improved than where it sits today when we start going into spring training. So, just
I
trying to be
agree.
the voice of reason here.
I agree.
On the flip side, I will say, as probably the only one here, maybe Gabe, you might be with me. I was never fully convinced last season, and I think I maybe came around in like August. So yeah, I still never really was convinced that this team had the juice to do it. And I think there were some things that they mismanaged along the way, but I think this is a microcosm of them sitting on their hands in the offseason and not making the moves that they need to make. Yes, getting Bregman last offseason was great. Getting Crochet was great last year. They were still a move away. And it wasn't about what they did in the offseason, it's what they did during the actual season. They didn't make any impact trades at the deadline. So, yeah, like that's a team right now when thinking about could they do, they kind of are a half measure team. They can't go full in for what they need to do. So until they're ready to show us that they can go in full measure and try and win this thing, to me, they're not a serious team.
Yeah.
Never mind going in full in on the trade deadline. They flipped one of their best players for a pile of dog shit.
That
Yeah.
I don't care about. That I actually think was addition by subtraction. The issue now is you made that move and you cleared up all that space that you had dedicated to that player, and you
Go spend the money.
Now
legitimately
he's
could
coming
have.
around.
No, no,
Now
no,
he's
no, no.
coming
Listen,
around.
listen, listen. No, no, no. Listen. You could have said, "All right,
Yes, this is my
you
issue
know,
too.
eat. We'll eat some of this money and we'll get a better prospect back." And they said, "No, we don't want to have any of the money tied up in our books." And what they were feeding us was this bullshit of,
Yep.
"Hey, we're gonna spend in the offseason. We're gonna take this money that we were putting towards Devers and we're
100%.
gonna reinvest in the roster." So
Yeah.
until that happens, I can't believe anything that they say.
Well, because
So
Eric,
Well, they did 50% of it.
unlike you though, I bought in last year because they were having a great year and they were, like you said, that one move away. So they are, in my eyes, and I know you agree, Sam, they are in a World Series window right now. They are. So you have, and if you're promising the fans that you're going to
act
make
like
that
it.
move,
Act like it.
exactly, go get an
Over
Alonso.
fucking
Don't,
pay.
or if you're gonna go get, or if you're gonna say you're gonna get Alonso, be at least in the ballpark. Like be in the conversation. That's my big thing. So give us as a fans, give us what we want and give us that big money free agent, and we deserve it. We 100% deserve it.
Couldn't
They're gonna
agree
get
more.
from what they can from the bargain bin and say, "We tried. We did our
Well,
best."
Big
Building
E,
19. Here we go.
Big E, the voice of reason, comes in there at the end to set us even on the Red Sox as we were all wound up there pretty good. The ice cream machine is off. Henry's in the penalty box. Big E, you're also the voice of this segment of the week.
Oh yeah, it's something we look forward to every week. It's a time where we get to talk about the things that we don't really like, the things that are kind of smelly, stinky, the things that they just make me go, yeah, oh, get out of here, all right. And then we got the things that are stupendous, wondrous, the things that make me get up out of bed in the morning and get on top of the bed and scream at the top of my lungs, oh yeah, the things that are fantastic. Let's go. Who's got it? Oh yeah, or yeah, oh this week.
All right, let's start with the yeah ohs. I put this in here. I think we might all be feeling this way. Yeah oh, unfortunately, to Patriots fans, and in particular, one Dave Portnoy, for spouting off in the middle of the game when the Patriots were up 21-0, waving it all around, thinking that the Patriots were back in supreme position, and what happened happened. And this is not what it used to be, and I don't think any of us can look at it that sort of way. This team still has a long way to go and lots to prove. And we cannot be like having our emotions based on the past anymore in terms of like the success of the team. It's been a great year. It's been a year that's been unexpected. But cockiness of Patriots fans is like, we have no right to be cocky. We've been 4-13. We're having a stellar season, but let's take our 6 to midnight down a little bit and just relax until we start to prove some things in big games,
I don't know.
as we said.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. You have an MVP candidate quarterback. You're on a 10-game winning streak. You're fighting for the one seed in the AFC. I think you should be a little cocky. I think you should
Not in the
be.
middle of a game.
Maybe not in the middle of the game, but I think you have a right to be swinging it around a little bit and say we're back in the AFC.
Yeah.
We're planting our
That's
our
fine.
foot here. I think you do have a right to be a little.
I don't-
cocky.
The fans can do that. The team cannot.
The team
And that's
no.
and the team has it. So
But
I
I
just want to
think,
make sure
but
we're
I
making
think,
that
I
clear.
think fans do have a right to kind of swing it around a little bit. I think so.
If
Absolutely,
you
especially
swinging
after
it,
what we've
you
been through
swinging
over
it
the
in
last 5
Pittsburgh?
years.
Oh, we're swinging.
Yeah,
I just
swing it away,
I don't
bro.
I don't know. Just live streaming. I have to agree with Lottie on that one.
It
Live
was
streaming
more so in the middle of
the
the game,
game's
just
not
sitting there
over
like,
yet.
oh, we're fucking back.
In the
Like,
middle of the
it's
game,
like,
yeah.
The game's
it's like,
not
can we
over
wait
yet.
until the fat lady hits
0-0,
some gear?
0-0, then talk all the shit you fucking want.
Right. Like when the books are stamped, that's when you talk your shit. You don't do it in the middle
Agreed.
of something happening. That was more so my point. I do agree that as Patriots fans, so we have
Swing
a
it around, baby.
lot to be happy about.
Oh, it is.
All right. To a college football situation. Who wants to who wants to discuss this?
Yeah, I'll touch on it a little bit because I'm the one
Okay.
that put it there. I mean, it was. I'm sure you guys are all like, "What the fuck is going on?" Just as much as I am, and everyone that's listening is about the University of Michigan coach. So, from what I've understood, reading through some of the legal stuff, because I like to do that in my downtime. Apparently, this guy had a relationship with a staffer about a year ago. University of Michigan tried to adjudicate it themselves, and they did. And then it started back up again, I believe, just recently. And it got to the point where she was like, no, we can't, go forward with this. And I guess he wanted to really badly and broke into our house. And I'm pretty sure he held a butter knife to his neck and
Are you sure
threatened
it was a
to
butter
kill
knife?
him.
I heard it was a like a an actual knife, like a
Whatever
Well,
it was a
it
knife,
was
and it was
two.
no good.
It was two. It was a butter knife, and it was a kitchen, like one of those big kitchen knives.
No good.
But just what is going on? Like I just don't understand it. I mean, the just why are people shitting where they eat? We saw it with Ime Udoka. We've seen it
Yes,
with a
good
lot of other
call.
people, and I just don't understand it.
it won't be the last either.
No, it's not going to
It's
be the last. It's just like people don't learn, and it's just take this as professional advice for everyone out there. Don't shit where you eat.
well, on an yeah perspective, great opening in college football has now taken place. So there's a great marquee job that someone is going to get that I think we were not all expecting was going to be on the market. So interesting to see what happens there.
Too bad it's not Lane Kiffin.
No,
I mean,
he's already married to LSU
I
for
think
now.
that
Yeah, that
SEC
was the one
money,
liner.
as Mike was saying, is on another level. All right, well, we got to get a oh yeah in here, and I got to give a oh yeah to Goose.
Was the guy with the
Oh,
mustache there?
Were they in
oh, he was
Providence?
there. So they packed
They
out the
were.
Dunkin'
That's a
Donuts
different
You were
Center.
there
story.
Friday, right? Not
I was there
Saturday.
Friday,
Good.
so yeah,
Different story.
obviously, I mean, I'll get into Goose in a minute. All the stuff
Yeah.
going on in the world right now is
Yeah.
absolutely
Crazy,
terrible.
man.
It's a
Yeah.
Crazy.
dark,
A lot of yaos right
a lot
now.
of yaos from that standpoint. We don't usually go down these roads on this podcast. We try and bring a little light into the day, and get away from all the nonsense. But we know what's going on. It's a tough time. A big oh yeah to Hanukkah. A very happy Hanukkah to all our friends who
Happy, happy,
celebrate.
happy, happy Hanukkah.
So
Eight crazy
yes.
nights.
Eight crazy nights, night two tonight. So oh yeah, on that. Obviously, everything going on in the world has been tough to digest and swallow, but not what we do here on the podcast. But let's get back to the Goose. I was there on Friday, and they packed out the place, and it was an awesome concert, fellas. I mean, it felt like I was at like it was like a modern day Dead show, but fish like, and just the jams were amazing. The whole production of the entire thing was on another level. They packed the city. It felt like the Dead in terms of like the people that were there and the crowd and the like movements behind
Goose
it.
heads.
And it felt like Fish from the terms of a musical perspective and how they jammed and the pace of it. It was really good. I mean, I've been listening to them like not like sporadically, but they went to another level. Biggie, are you goosing around over there?
I like
Oh no,
goose.
I got another speculative oh yeah when you're done with Goose.
No, I'm done goosing around.
Speculative, oh yeah, the Sphere in Vegas on I believe Saturday. So Friday evening, Saturday morning, 2:30 something a.m. The Steely came back on the Sphere. So
Uh-oh.
people are kind of thinking perhaps maybe Dead and Company might be announcing another residency in Las Vegas. So more to come on that for any of you Deadheads out there.
I could definitely see the Dead returning, hopefully, and I will guarantee this in the next 5 years that Goose will definitely play at the Sphere. Guarantee. Put it in the books.
Ooh.
That's a plotty guarantee. All right, I guarantee you this. We're going to take the Pike home now and wrap this episode up. J
Just like
Mac,
your presents, we're gonna wrap it
yes,
up.
that's right. And let's do it. Without further ado, we obviously got Sunday Night Football, Pats in Baltimore. So anything on that or any other games that pique your interest, my
I
friend?
mean, Thursday night football is a great one this week. You got Rams Seahawks fighting for the NFC West. So yeah, I think probably. I mean, damn, there's a lot of good games. You got the NFC North battle between the Packers and the Bears too. Those are probably the only two I'll say, but those are some true divisional battles that will really shape how the playoffs look.
I honestly I love the fact that the Pats are playing the Ravens this week after the loss to Buffalo because it's not like they're getting a cupcake, because they literally have, and I'm not saying that this both of these teams are cupcakes, but the Jets and then the Dolphins who've been playing much better as of late, who are actually playing on Monday night tonight. But I think playing against Baltimore, playing against another quarterback that can get out on the move like Josh Allen and showing that they can defend against that is a great opportunity to bounce back and to really kind of right the ship as they head down the stretch run here before the playoffs. So really excited to see how they respond against the Ravens, Lamar Jackson.
Love it. Gabe, Bruins.
Bruins. Can you guys hear me all right? My internet's been a little wacky.
Yeah, you're good
Yep.
now.
You're good.
All right, cool. I would say team I'm looking most forward to watching them play against is probably the Edmonton Oilers. they've obviously got Connor McDavid, who's the best player in hockey right now, and Zach Hyman and Leon Draisaitl. So, I mean, these
All
guys
right,
are
Bamba.
they're like the premier guys in the NHL, and I'm excited to see how the Bruins stack up with that.
Yeah, it will be a good week. Looking forward to the Canadian chicks at the Garden all week long. All right.
I mean,
Big E
definitely
and
will.
the Celtics. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, 3 games coming up this week. We got a game against Miami on Friday, a game against Toronto on Saturday, and then a game against the Pacers on Monday. Game out of those three that I'm most excited for is the Miami Heat. Miami Heat have, been a team that's been a thorn in the Celtics side going back to when they imitated, the big three that we had here back in, the late 2000 aughts to 2010s. So it's the first matchup for us against them this season. They were a team that was top three, top four. I think they're just hovering around there right now. So it'll be good to get the rivalry up and going with Miami again. And
No Terry
Spoelstra is
Rozier.
well, no Terry Rozier, but Spoelstra is still one of the best coaches in the league. So
He is.
always a good test for us to go up against him and his teams because they always play us hard.
Love it. Kraz, anything across any sports that you're looking forward to this week?
Red Sox fucking doing something.
You're gonna wait till
That's
February,
pretty
buddy.
much.
That's
I
not. It's
know.
not gonna happen till
That
then.
could
So
be his
just
Good
take
luck.
for the
just
next.
hold your horses.
Could be his take for the next 6, 7 weeks. We'll keep track of that as we move forward
That's my take. That's my take.
each
He's
episode.
sticking to it.
Before we end, shout out to Mrs. P's friend Bella for the hat. We got the Aquidneck hat tonight. Sight sailing Newport. Check it out. You're down there. Go take out a sailboat. Have fun. Thanks for the hat, Bella. Appreciate you. And
Hey, Bella.
gentlemen,
Yeah,
hey
Bella
Bella.
went to fucking Egypt. That was fucking dope.
Yeah. Oh man, she just had a crazy international trip. She's living it up for sure. So,
I'm jealous.
big shout out to Bella. Sight sailing Newport. You're ever down there? Go get out on a boat. It's a good time. Lots of good things coming up. I can't
Just
wait for that weather, gentlemen. It's cold as balls out there.
sunscreen the head.
Yes, yes. Protect it. Wear a hat. J Matt's got his hat on down there at the equator, so it's a cold out there. Stay
The
warm
equator.
Cold,
and
man.
near, far, wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Boston Sports Brothers Podcast. Peace.
See y'all.
Good night.
Adios.